Hey, what I need you to do is get down the examples. You need to write down section 18.1, sequences. The page number, which I neglected to write down, is page 412 of your textbook. So we're looking at page 412. Also, you need to put down today's date, which is the 5th, and once again, so that it links more easily with the videos in case you have to go back and revise something. I'm just tidying this up slightly while I'm talking. I hope, have I made it too small? Is it still readable? Yeah? Is it okay? Oh, I'm always a bit worried about that. Right, just save it. So just make sure you put down today's date, which is the 5th. I do apologise because this is too easy peasy for you, to be honest. So have you copied out part 1? A sequence starts at 7 and increases in steps of 4. I mean, you got this when you were 5, didn't you? So it starts off with 7. Basically, it increases in steps of 4, which means it's an add 4 problem. And I really don't want to waste any time on this. I'm almost embarrassed doing it for you because I know you're a talented bunch. So it usually tells you in an exam, write down the next 4 numbers in the sequence. Okay? It didn't say it here. So basically 7, 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 4 is 19, etc. I think it said in the question, write down the first 6 terms. So add on another one, and we've got add on another 4, and it's going to be 23. Have I got 6 terms yet? I don't think I have. Add on another 4, 27. My humble apologies. Sequence starts 7 and increases in steps of 4, and the question should have followed on, write down, reading what it says here, the first 6 terms. So make sure you write down that English as well. Now, I have to take issue with this because they said write down the first 6 terms, which is the reason why I glanced at the textbook. Because in the textbook, I think I'm having a bad hair day. Now, this thing here, forget what I was about to say, this thing here is called term 1. And then the one at the end, because it's the 6th term, is called term 6. So, again, I'm just trying to show you the sort of work that you might get when you are in doing higher level, because this is too simple. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you exactly the same question as if it was written in table form. So when you're higher level students, that's ordinary level. When you're higher level students, you might get a table of results. And the n number is which number it is, not its value. So the 7 is the first number. The 11 is the second number. The 15 is the third, the fourth, the 5th, and the 6th. So term number 1 will be 7. Term number 2 would be 11. Term number 3 will be 15. Term number 4 will be 19, 23, and 27. And I apologize for doing that now. I just want to get ahead of myself. Okay? Now, you are required for higher level to be able to go from the table format to the inline format, which is what we've got here, or you are meant to be able to go from the inline format to the table format. Okay? The table format, the headings, unless it's a CBA, will always be the same. The first column will be N, and the second column will be T suffix N. Now, when you're writing T suffix N, you're usually writing a tiny n, and you usually write it on the line. So when you're writing a power, it's 3 to the power of 2. If you're writing a suffix, the 2's written down the bottom. So again, that's just new stuff and notation. If you don't understand the notation, which is fairly simple to be honest, it means you won't be able to access the question and you won't be able to get a very easy question right. Okay? Now, is everyone happy with that so far? All right? If it was a CB, do you mind if I actually digress from the example in the actual book? Because what I'm going to do now is, has everyone got that written down, including the little table? Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rub all that out so that I can drag up the next question. You're just following on, and I can then write it underneath. Okay, so in your CBA, you are required to write things in different formats. If you write things in different ways, you get more marks. So if they give you a list of data, you should always put it into a table. If it's a sequences problem, and the definition of a sequence, let's stick to numbers, is numbers separated by commas, a list of numbers where there's a pattern. You might not spot the pattern, but there is a pattern. So if I was now putting that into a table for my CBA, I'd be writing two headings, N and TN, and I would be drawing very neatly with a ruler a vertical line. I'd be putting 27, 24, sorry, I won't be doing that. I'm gone complete and utter idiot today. I'd be writing 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here, the first term is 27. The second term is 24. The third term is 21. And the fourth term is 18. Now, I've decided I'm going to digress from the textbook for now. In mathematics, the first thing you always look for is something called a common difference. See if there's a common difference. So what you do, you're either adding on to get the next number or you are subtracting. So basically, the 27 is going to 24, so it's going down. So I am definitely subtracting. So I've now got a -3, and I write it on the line so it appears to be in between. I then look at the 24 and it goes to 21, which means there is a difference there of 3. And then the 21 becomes 18. It means it's dropped by 3 again. So basically, each term, to get the next term, I am subtracting 3. The question here says to you, describe what the sequence is in words. So what you do, if this was ordinary level, you would say there is a common difference of -3. That's enough to get you full marks. Now, in the textbook, it would say subtract 3, go down by 3. But I want to actually go from ordinary level to higher level straight away, and I'm doing it now. So I'm deviating from the book. So I write up here, is the difference common? Yes, it's always -3. So for higher level, you write down has a common difference of -3. Now, this is not part of the example, but it is part of higher level. And as soon as you identify something has a common difference, it has a special name, and you need to know what that special name is. And you put a therefore symbol, which is the triangle with 3 dots in it, and you say, therefore, a linear sequence. A linear sequence. Now, and this is very, very important. It's technical language for higher level. Linear in mathematics means a straight line. So that would mean if you plotted 1, 27, 2, 24, 3, 21, 4, and 18 onto a graph, it should be in a straight line. And may I also say to you, this is building up to the CBA, saying it's a linear sequence and drawing a graph of it is another way of representing the same information and would get you more marks. More importantly, if those numbers weren't common, you would write down no common first difference, not linear. So when it's a common first difference, it's linear. If it's not common on the first difference, it's not linear. It's really, really useful. Now, it says describe in words this sequence, and I'm saying it's a sequence with a common difference of -3, and you'll get full marks. If you read the book, it says the sequence begins at 27 and goes down in steps of 3. That's too long. All you've got to do, slap it into a table, write down -3, and then write down common difference is -3, therefore a linear sequence. Now, this is not going to be part of your exercise, but if you do get a common difference, I want you to write down each time, therefore a linear sequence. Happy enough with that? So that is a tiny extension on what you did in national school. Now, everything I'm writing down, you need to write down. If you haven't, then you need to go to the video tonight and make sure you copy it down. Okay, we're going on to the next bit now. Now, this again is ridiculously simple. I'm going to shrink it down. Is that too small? I'm looking to the guys in the back row. Braj? You can still read it? Yeah? Yeah? Too small? Fine? Right, leave it at that. I'll save that for future years now. Right. I want you to write out the sentence, but this isn't what we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at it and exploring it in different ways so that you can tackle the questions in the exercise in a few minutes. Starting with the number 3, comma, the rule subtract 2 and then multiply by 4 gives the sequence. Now, I haven't written down any questions. So what I need you to do is I need you to write down that statement, those numbers, and then we're going to explore the mathematics for higher level. And then when we've explored the mathematics for higher level, I'm then going to give you examples of the sort of questions you're going to get. And I'd appreciate it if you didn't go back to national school. Now, if you've done what I'm about to do in national school, I'd like you to tell me, because I'm going to be seriously impressed with the people who are teaching you in national school. Right, is that everyone done? Have you got it written down? Hands up if you haven't. I'll give another couple of minutes. Your week 20s is going to be on this, I promise you, whatever we get to. Okay, who's still writing? Okay, happy? You sure? Right then. So what's the rule? So starting with the number 3, which is a bit dodgy because there is no start or there may be no finish to sequences sometimes. So need to be careful about that. The rule is subtract 2 and then multiply by 4. So you've got 2 rules in a specific order. The first one is, well, that would be nice if it was actually tied in place, but it wasn't, so I need to lock it, and then I need to save it again. There we go. So the first one is quite simply here. It says, let's try that again. The first one is subtract 2, and the second one is multiply by 4. And please note, what I'm doing is key to my setting it out. In your test and in your exam, you will have the words, you'll be able to circle them, you'll be able to do exactly what I've just done there. So what I'm doing now is I'm coming down here and I'm drawing a line, I'm drawing a circle. Inside the circle, I'm writing subtract 2 in a mathematical way. I'm drawing another line, I'm putting an arrow on the line because this is the order that we are doing it in. And then the next circle, which I've already drawn, and there's the English for that circle, and the mathematics for that circle is multiply by 4. And then at the other end, you have an arrow. This is called, the beginning is called the input, and the end is called the output. Okay? Now, would you like me to turn this into a higher level question? So to turn this into a higher level question, what I do is I label up, and I label up T3, T4, T5, T6, or I could have written much more easily, given T3 is equal to 3, and which would be an awful lot nicer, calculate T7, T8, and I'm going to keep it simple today, T2. So what makes it higher level is the language of the question and the way it's written. Now, what I'm trying to teach you is always to do something in a similar way. So the first thing I'm going to actually show you is the way I'm setting it out on the page is absolutely vital. Now, this thing here would have been written up here. So my apologies, I'm thinking on the hoof here. So the solution, I've already started. And my solution is going up the sequence. But I also need to go down. Why do I need to go down? Because they've asked me for T7 and T8, but they've also asked me for T2, or they could have asked me for T1, which is below the 3. So what I'm advising you to do, and this is purely to enhance your scores on a CBA, I know most of you can do this in your heads. This isn't about doing it in your heads. It's about seeing mathematics on paper for a CBA so that you get the marks. So I trust you've noticed, hands up please, and please put your hands up. Don't leave your hands down. Put your hands up if you know what goes in here. Please take note of what I've done. What have I done? I've changed the direction of the arrows. If I'm going from left to right, the instruction in the question told me I must subtract 2 and then multiply by 4. But if I want to reverse it mathematically, put your hands up and tell me what you think goes in there. And if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Holly? Well. Good one. You are correct. But I did ask what goes in here. No, in this one. Because the order of it is specific. Divide by 4. Now, the method you employed, by the way, was completely and utterly correct. You read it from left to right, yeah? And you were going to say add 2. Because if you're going in the opposite direction, you're doing the opposite function. And the opposite function to minus 2 is plus 2. And the opposite function to multiply is divide. So there's our inverse. The next thing, and I know all of you can do, most of you can do this without doing any working out at all, but this isn't about that. I am training you for the CBA. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing higher level coding. I'm writing in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm writing 8. And why am I writing 1 to 8? Because the question says I'm starting at T3, and it asks me for T8, and it asks me for T2, and I do believe in completion, put all of it in. N always starts at 1. There could be another question further down the paper where they want 1. So get it done properly at the beginning. So term number 3. What is term number 3? What did they tell you term number 3 is equal to? It's equal to 3. So term number 3 is equal to 3. So that must be term number 4, and that's equal to 4. It's annoying because it matches the term number. That's term number 5, because it's the next one, and that must be term number 6. Now, when you're going down, you're using the top one. When you're going backwards, you're using the bottom one. And the arrows is telling you moving onwards, and the arrows pointing this way tells you moving backwards. Okay? So the coding's important. If you're nervous, and what I'm trying to get across to you, I have met some of the most, I'm not fit to polish their shoes, some incredibly intelligent mathematicians who make mistakes arithmetically. They don't know their tables, but they are brilliant mathematicians. Now, you've got a calculator. If you are in a hurry in the exam and you think you might make a silly mistake and you don't want to make a silly mistake, most of you should be doing it in your heads. But if you're getting nervous, then you need to use the calculator. So because I'm moving down, I'm going to be following the instructions, and it says minus 2. And if I minus 2 from 24, what do I get? 22. And then I times that answer by 4. And as I said, quite a few of you, I'm hoping I haven't made a silly mistake, the answer should be 88. Now, they, for higher level, sometimes get more complicated. So you need, now, I'm just writing it up here as a reference. I don't want you to necessarily do that. I'm writing 24 up there just to focus. Now, what I do is I type 24, I turn my calculator on, I type 24 into the calculator, I minus 2, and the arrow tells me, this arrow tells me, press the equal sign. For this method, you must remember the arrow says press the equal sign. So you press execute. And then you type in multiply by 4, and then you press execute, and you get 88. So using this, did anyone do the mapping diagram circle method in national school? No one. Very few teachers in Ireland do it in secondary school either, but it makes ridiculously hard questions very easy. So if I now want to do the next one, what's it saying? Basically, subtract 2 and multiply by 4. Now, this is from this number here. Subtract 2 and multiply by 4. So when you subtract 2 and multiply by 4, what are you going to get next? So I've got 88. So type in, press all I can press execute, I suppose. Where's my all cancel button? There it is. So type in 88 minus 2, press execute, multiply by 4, press execute, and the answer is 344.